Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hunted Podcast. You are here with myself, AJ Cox. Next to me is Levi Mason and Brett Curry. Chris decided to be an adult and a good dad and take his daughter down to college and everything. So we decided, since Chris isn't here, we don't care. We came in, took over his shop and his shed. So we're definitely going to go through and probably leave him some presents and some toilets, and probably go through and hide some shit, maybe even take some of his shit and let him know that, you know, the good buddies that we were doing these episodes without him. So if you want to see what else we're up to, go through and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find us on all of them by going and typing in the Hunted Podcast. If you would also make sure you go through and share our stuff via, social media, talking to people, telling them, like, hey, we got these guys who they don't know nothing, but they're kind of sort of entertaining. If you'd go through and, give them a listen, maybe you might also like them. And then also, if you would, if you're on Facebook, we just kind of got into this, and it has exploded for us. And if you are one of our new listeners, we greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate you. But like I was saying, go back and check out on the Facebook. If you go up and there's 3 little dots, hit those. Invite friends, invite all your friends. It is helping us immensely. We have, like I said, we have almost tripled here in about a week and a half, and it seems like everybody that we got on there are all outdoorsy people. Some of them have already reached out to us and told us they like what we do, like what we're doing, asked a couple of questions, and it's awesome. That seems to be about the best way to go out, is word of mouth and through people doing that through Facebook. And then while you're there, we're going to try to go through and do a pre-order here. That's one of the things on the agenda today before we part our ways today. But when we go through and do that, we're going to try to do some stickers, hats, tumblers, koozies, maybe some hoodies and things like that. We haven't quite got that figured out, but we are going to definitely working on it because it's going to be here real quick, and we need to get that out. So you guys can go out, buy that stuff, help us out, and make yourself look real good. Yeah. Oh, but we do have some of this stuff with us. So if you want to go out and you see us out and about, we can get you what we got. And if not, we'll go ahead and, put your name down and all that stuff so we can get you all pre-ordered and ready to go. Okay. Now we are at the point to where we go through, and it's kind of a bittersweet kind of thing. We go through and give our way of saying thanks to the first responders and military people. And then also we do a little moment of silence here for the people that are no longer here with us that were first responders or military of some kind. I know I say this almost absolutely every episode, but our world just keeps getting crazier and crazier, it seems. Seems like you can't turn on the news of some way and see that there's, somebody of some first responder or military that had a, bad situation, things like that. Even in our little nothing area where we're at here in West Central Illinois, we've had some things going on, and our deepest hopes and prayers and all that stuff are for these first responders, these military people to go through, and their families to stay strong and fight the good fight and all that good stuff. So, but with that being said, if you have somebody that is a first responder or military that is either with us or is not with us anymore, or if just some basic story of something you saw, something just as basic as, you were driving down the road and you saw, some police officer, pulled over on the side of the road and was helping, Grandma Nana put a new tire on her car, and you thought that was kind of neat and everything like that, absolutely go through and let us know. Or if you had a story, about, a relative or a buddy or something like that is sadly no longer with us, and you want to, just tell us about how much of a badass or how awesome it was to know them, we most definitely would go through and, say thank you to them also and put a little shout out on there for them. But for right now, we're going to go through, take a few moments here, and it's just a moment of silence. It's our way of, saying thank you to the ones that are no longer with us. So give us a few minutes and we'll be right back. All right, we are back at it. All right. Morning, boys. Morning. Brett, hey, we're over here.
Morning.
We're over here.
Sorry.
Yeah. So,
Brett's finally with us.
yeah, finally with us.
I'm back.
We lost Chris, but
Yeah.
Brett's here.
Yep. But as always, we got the two main ones that the people,
That's right.
that always tell us, and at least that we tell each other that, we're the best and all that good stuff. We got a couple Bloody Marys going on here. Brett was nice enough to go through and be bartender for us here. Levi seems to be, I don't know what, pussing out or what? Don't want a cocktail yet?
Got to get my caffeine in me.
Got to get
first.
that. Oh, so you can be an excited drunk? That's
Right.
good. That's good. So I know we were talking earlier that we didn't quite know what we're going to talk about, but Levi, I think, hit the nail on the head. Sometimes us just rambling and picking up off of each other and stuff like that, we feel becomes kind of our better, more entertaining episodes. But I think we're just going to roll right off with dove season
Yeah.
because I know, Brett, you said you had a secret, super
I
quiet
do.
spot that you're going to.
I'm excited for
That
it too.
you're going to let us go out there. We're going to have to be blindfolded and
Yes.
gagged
Yep.
and,
Yep.
and anal beaded and all that stuff for us to get
You're
out there.
used to that.
Yeah. I mean, that's how you want to go.
Hey, you're the one that makes the rules, man.
know,
But you're
that's true.
you're promising big, delicious doves. So.
I am. It's a really good spot, and I've been seeing doves in there all the time, all year. And I got some sunflowers, and haven't got to hunt over sunflowers in forever. I mean, you do when you do public ground, but this is like my own little honey hole, so I am very excited. And if I kill one dove, I don't care. I'm still excited. I don't care.
I'm excited because I couldn't even tell you the last time that I went dove hunting, other than going out to my mom and dad and seeing a couple just in the ditches up
Yeah.
and flying over in the cornfields and stuff. But I honestly don't know if I've actually have ever went to an actual field to go dove hunting. I know for a fact I haven't been over any sunflowers.
Oh yeah, it's exciting.
No,
Yeah.
I've never been over sunflowers
No.
either. Just always silage and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, silage is what I did too.
But no, of course I get too excited and I went out and bought like some more decoys, so it's gonna look like a snow goose spread out there. But I probably won't put that many out. But
Which is fine. I even got a couple if you need some more
Perfect. There
just
you
to
go.
add on to it. If they still work, 'cause like I said, I haven't been in forever. They're probably all gummed up and
it'll
melted.
be
and-
fine. You just need a little movement and they'll come right in.
All right. So who's going to be the dog when we go? Because I mean, we're probably going to kill at least 100 of them. So
Yeah.
who's going to have to go out there and go?
Probably
pick them all
Chris
up?
since he's not here. That's the way I see it.
Feeding beers.
Yeah.
Yeah, just let him.
Good boy will have a little dog bowl out there. We'll put bush light in there for him to come in
Yeah,
there.
as he's wearing his tutu.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like that.
Got to spice it up for
Mm-hmm.
him. So with dove hunting, I mean, at least the way that I do it, I mean, it's pretty dang simple, right? You just get
Yeah.
out there, wear some darker clothes, kind of tuck yourself away a little bit.
Yep, and
Sit on a
then-
bucket.
Yep. So the spot that we'll be in, I don't want to give too much away, but there's a like a gravel pit nearby where they, and so there's a big hill behind you and it's got some brush and we're gonna tuck in there. And the farmer was nice enough to be like, you want me to mow some little areas in the grass so you guys can sit? And I'm like, yeah, man, you do whatever you want to do. We'll be there.
Not going to tell you no.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but that'd be perfect. But yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
I did see though that Illinois, of course, like I said, haven't been in dove hunting for forever, but they have. I don't know if they're calling it an invasive species or something. Have you seen that?
The
There's
Eurasian.
yeah.
And they're big.
They are big.
They said and the thing I was reading, it said bigger than a dove.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're about in between a dove and a pigeon.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So that is a good size then.
Yeah.
I almost want to go through and shoot them because doves are great, but dude, it's almost like frog legs. Like it's a lot of work
Yeah.
for just a
Bite-sized.
bite-sized little piece of meat.
appetizer,
But
yeah.
they're just so delicious.
They are. Wrap it in bacon. Oh my. Should have brought those. Could have put that in the blood.
Put in the Bloody Mary. Yeah, that.
Heck with the chicken wing.
There you go.
So, do you know, like, you're seeing doves out there and
Yeah.
all that now?
Yep.
Because it always seems like, at least out when I go through and see them, it's always like right before season starts.
Yeah.
They scoop boots.
And there's a lot of people out there that have sunflowers, so they know the air. Like the doves know the area, and I mean they've been down there year round. It's a big, like sandy soil area, so they do a lot of like wheat growing. Mm-hmm. And when the wheat came out, I mean it looked like barn swallows out there. It was. I sent you guys the
Really?
video that one day. It was
Oh, yeah,
nothing
yeah.
but doves. It was, and that's not too far from where we're gonna be hunting. So And there's big roosting areas nearby. The Illinois River is just right down the road. And it's just, it's probably one of the best dove areas that I know of.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm-
It's awesome.
So what is it? September 1st, we're making
Yep.
a road trip,
It's on a Sunday.
right? Well, yeah, nothing like, saying hello to the good Lord,
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying.
just blasting first light as much as you can.
Melting some barrels
Yeah,
down.
exactly.
Shooting the love dove on a Sunday.
Love dove. That's awesome. So is there? I know we've never touched on dove things before, but is there any basic advice you'd give somebody? Because I mean, like I said, I haven't did it in forever, but now that I'm thinking about it, dude, I think that's a great thing to go through and get somebody into.
Yeah.
Would be dove hunting. I mean, is there stuff that you want to look for? Like, is there certain areas where doves usually go? Kind of like the basic necessities you need to get into this.
I mean, sunflowers, is always the best, but, like we talked, you can hunt silaged fields.
Sweet corn.
Yeah, sweet corn patches, sandy areas, gravelly areas. They're out there getting that grit for their crawl to digest the food. Areas that have dead trees.
Yep.
They like to hang out in those dead trees.
Oh,
and
yeah.
just kinda
Yep.
loaf around. Those are the best areas
They
I've
roost.
found.
They roost big in like pines.
Yeah.
Big pine
Are they
roosters.
are they like, do you see more like, I don't know, towards water? I mean, where would you say, like, if you're driving down the road, what would you kind of be looking for and be like, oh, I bet there's some doves out that way?
Just crop. So like he said, silage, and then in that area where we'll be, they do a lot of end-row mowing for the seed corn. So that's just food that they're just mowing.
Okay.
It'd be like going out into a cornfield and just mowing.
So it's more kind of like you just drive around, you just got to look for them. Like, they could be
They're like
here,
wet,
there,
They're
and
like wet
anywhere.
holes, like, in the field if there's a low spot. Where
I like me a good wet hole, too.
Know it, right? But yeah, it's just, they like food. So, I mean, scouting for doves, yeah, you can do it. But then again, like like deer, if you got the food, they'll be there.
Okay.
So,
And then with sunflowers, though, is that kind of a rarity thing around here? Because I know farmers don't like sunflowers.
Right. Yeah. You don't see it a lot like up here in our area where, we're in good crop country.
right.
Unless you, really own and manage the place where you can do whatever you want. But yeah, it seems like it's more kind of a Illinois river bottom type
So,
thing.
yeah, so it's like your irrigated spots where they call it dry corners, where the irrigator does not touch, so it just gets grown up with just grass. They'll sometimes put CRP in there.
Yep.
And a lot of the farmers down there, they'll put just, they'll put beans in, but like some guys will just do sunflowers. That's like they dove hunt, or if they know some of the dove hunt, they do it for them. But
So usually if you see sunflowers out there, it's because somebody is dove hunting it.
more likely, yeah.
I was going to say, because around here, like, sunflowers serve, like, nobody
No.
harvests them.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
does anything with them, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if this is true, but I've always heard that the black oil sunflowers do not spread.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
if you are out listening and, if you hunt a ground where your landowner, whoever says you can't put sunflowers out because they spread in your field, if you do black oil sunflowers, they won't spread into the field and get sunflowers out.
But the doves still like them.
They love 'em.
Oh, they
Yep.
love them. Yep.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Because I know me and my old man talked years and years and years ago, because like I said, we get them, or he gets them out of his house and stuff, and we kind of property lines and this and that, and my uncle and cousin own it, farm it, and do all this and that, and I kind of brought it up to my cousin. He's like, hey, it's your property. You can do what you want, but I'm not saying that they might not get some overspray and die, because he's like, dude, that we don't, sunflowers, they just spread and they do this, and they're basically like a weed to them almost.
Well, and you got to watch too, with hunting rules and regulations, since they're a migratory bird, with manipulating them after the fact. After they've matured and headed out and seeded out and everything. Like, it's not like corn, for deer, where you can go and shred 2 acres of corn and go sit on it. Like, you can't manipulate that crop because they are a migratory bird.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's-
if, and if you have sunflowers and you mow them, you can't hunt geese within, 300 yards or something like that?
Yeah, pretty much like any migratory bird, you can't hunt. Yeah, and then you got to give it X amount of days to sit.
Yep.
and,
Right.
Yeah, so you're better off if you're going to plant them, just plant them, hunt over them. Don't try to manipulate
Do
them
it,
in
yeah.
any sort.
Just leave them as it is.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. I had no idea. I haven't even waterfowl hunting. I couldn't tell you how many years. So I'm
Yeah.
very out of touch with all that stuff. But I mean, at least for me, when I went through and got started, I went to old Farm King and bought a couple dove decoys and stick them on some branches and got a couple, what do they call them? The feathers flip and they get some flash of white.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Oh, the Mojos.
No, yeah, I got a couple Mojos, and I mean, it's to me what I like about it is, like I said, it's something great for new people to go through and get into. It's great to take kids with.
Weather's nice.
Yeah, weather's nice.
Fairly inexpensive sport.
no, I mean,
Yeah,
Your shells pretty much is about the
and
most expensive
that's,
thing.
Yeah, because I don't hit shit.
yeah, but I mean, but it's not like you're picking out like 3.5 inch.
No,
you know,
no,
like
no,
all
you're
this
just
and that. You
You
just
get
some-
target loads.
Yeah, target loads and bird shot or whatever.
Yep.
I was thinking about getting my bow out and pulling a Tim Wells, and
There you go.
Yeah,
I got that blowgun now too.
there you go.
there you go.
If you could blowgun one out of the air,
That'd be
dude,
pretty
I'd
sweet.
give you $100
Ooh,
Per bird.
per bird.
per bird.
Okay, I'll do it.
The nice thing is you probably only got like 3 darts.
Well, I got a bunch.
Oh,
Yep. When I was talking to Tim there at the outdoor show, he sold me. He got me. But you know what? I love that thing. I'll just go out in the yard some nights and just shoot. I'll take my bow target out there, and I've got out to like 35 yards now.
No
Wow.
shit.
I'm doing good.
Damn.
Got the white blower on me.
That well, I mean, just from looking at you,
We've heard.
yeah, from looking at you, we can tell. We can tell. But no, I like I said, I think that's great because I used to go over and like I was saying about my uncle and my cousin, right on the other side when they go through and they'd mow their silage and stuff. I mean, dude, I'd just walk out there in green, brown clothes as much as I could, sit on a damn bucket, and then just sit there, and every now and again one come across.
Yep.
I mean, it's for no more than like you guys were saying you got to put into it and stuff, dude. I mean, it's really fun, especially if you go through and you get, a good couple, even from like 30 or 40 that are just keep, buzzing through
Yeah.
because they seem like they don't care.
No.
Like you go through and you blast a couple of them, give them a couple minutes, and they're going to keep rolling right by.
Well, then you kind of get down in the area like where Brett's talking about, and there's other sunflower fields around, and other guys are shooting, and you're just kind of bouncing birds
Yeah.
back and forth to each other. So you really don't. I've done it one time, long time ago, but it wasn't even like it was just like kind of a shit show. But you just constantly have birds bouncing back and forth, so you don't really get that much of a lull in the action.
And this area is really good too because it's like seed corn. So, all the crops are still in, but we're picking and getting all that corn out. And then, not every piece of corn makes it into the
Right.
auger wagon.
Right.
Yep.
So there's just food down there, and like you got water. And then, hate to bounce back, but back to the decoys thing, they're Mojos, and they're little pucks, and they're called flickers.
Yeah, and it's just
Yeah.
flicks the light. Yeah.
And I noticed like I'll have the big Mojos out, and they'll come in and they'll flare, but I'll just run those flickers, and it's just like a moth to a flame. Like I don't know if this might sound stupid. I don't know if they've got educated to the Mojos, and they're just like, I know what that is. There's a guy sitting over here in the weeds, shoot at me. But I put those flickers out, and they just dive bomb right in. I was like,
damn.
huh. So yeah, that's my new little secret this year.
Well, it's not a secret anymore. You just went and told all 20
cat's out of the bag.
all 20 people that listen to us.
Well, best of luck to you, 20 guys.
But yeah, I'm pumped. I'm excited. Even from the first day that you sent those pictures and you were like, hey, got some sunflowers getting planted and stuff like this. And I did. It was one of those, I was like, dude, shit.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I haven't even thought about hunting a dove, and I couldn't tell you how long, and they're absolutely delicious.
Oh yeah, I got made fun of because I was gonna put a cell camera on the sunflower. Someone's like, "Why wouldn't do that?" I'm like, "I want to see when the doves are coming in, man."
Well, yeah, I don't want to get out there
Yeah.
too early, too late. I want to get in there in
have them.
prime time and go through and just sit there and shoot my limit of, Jesus, what is it, like 45 a person or
No,
something?
15. Yeah, you can shoot 45.
We'll call a game
Well,
warden.
maybe. I meant all of us. I meant all of us together. We can shoot about
It's
45.
15 a person, and you gotta make sure your bag is separated.
Yep.
Because I got a warning from Mr. DNR last year.
Oh yeah.
Yep. But because I didn't really, yeah, we separated and we made sure we were going, like, if I shot 15, my buddy shot 15, but hell, we're lucky to shoot 12.
Yeah, and
Together.
you're just throwing them.
And we were just, throwing them, and he pulled up, and we just chit-chatted. Very nice guy. And he's like, well, whose doves are these? And I was like, oh, they're ours. He's like, yours or his? And I'm like, well, there's only 9.
Did you say, are you stupid? I
Yeah.
said ours.
No.
Ours.
But no, he was very polite, and he just said, hey, not going to be a jerk, but you got to have your guys' bag separator. Like, all right, man, we're cool. He's like, I'll just write you guys a fine. He's like, hey, if there's doves that come in, though, and I'm sitting here, it's like, blast them, just don't shoot my truck. I was like, we'll just wait till you leave.
That
Be
was
all right.
pretty cool about him.
Yeah.
As soon as he turns his back, there's one right there. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, sorry.
He was a good dude, other than the warning. But
Hey,
he's just doing his job.
I mean that too. I mean
Yeah.
he's got to do something.
Yeah.
Warning's better than a ticket.
That's what I'm saying.
Because
Yeah.
I wonder if he wanted to be a dick, if he could go through and get you per bird or something.
He probably could have if he wanted to, but he was, like I said, a very good dude.
That's awesome. But no, I'm super, super excited about it. So you've set the table.
Yep.
So now it's now we're going to get out there and the birds better be there. The only fuck uppery better be of us not being able to shoot them.
Oh, there'll be birds there. Don't worry.
Okay.
I promise you that.
All right. So, this is what I want to talk about. So with doves too, like we keep talking about how delicious they are. My go-to. So if you are lucky enough to go out and go find you a honey hole like Brett's going to take us out to, and you get you some doves. The way that I go through and cook them, dude, is a good little marinade, even some hot sauce or like a teriyaki or something. You just go through, pop them heads off and breast them out, throw them in there, let them sit overnight, throw a little bacon over the top of them, stuff like that. Get them on the grill till they get good and cooked. Oh, delicious. Is that how you guys do yours?
I've even done the jalapeno poppers one
That's my favorite.
with the cream cheese,
Yeah.
bacon. Whoa.
Do a jalapeno popper and put
Yeah.
that breast in there.
Jalapeno. Well, that's good. I think now, not only do we tell people what to do, we told them what to look for and how to prepare them. We gave people more than what they probably
And we will
expected.
come and try them.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll
Yeah,
be your official taste tester.
exactly. And if you need somebody to help come out and come identify these birds as they're flying through, we can help you.
Yeah. We could be your Gordon Ramsay. Tell you to do a shit job.
All right, so the next set of notes I got going on here, we're getting into that time, boys, to where fall is not too far away at all. Mm-hmm. I know Chris or Brett, you were out the other day doing some spraying, some weed control and stuff like that. How's the old plots looking?
Good. I'm weird. I like to have my food plots look like commercial seed or commercial beans, and they don't look like it. So now I think the deer won't like it. But they're in there.
They probably won't.
No. But no, I got it looking good. I also did some turnips and some radishes and some kale. I'd make my own little
Kale, huh? You're going to have some good California deer.
I am.
Nice and
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah,
and
they are.
Eating kale.
Yep. But I did that. That's coming up good. But yeah, just getting everything sprayed up and ready to rock and roll, and hopefully have 200 inchers standing there eating.
Oh, just easily. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not even.
I just want a picture of them.
Not even worried about it. Yeah. I know that you've been busy with life and moving and all this, everything else like this, and you haven't got out, right? To
I
get any
haven't done
food
hardly
plots or anything.
anything.
So
this
what's
year.
your plan come fall time then? Just
Basically go back on a lot of my historical notes over the years and just kind of grind away that way.
so like when you say your historical notes, I'm not asking to have you give secrets away, but like what would you go to? Because I know where some of your spots, like you do got bean edges and some corn edges and some points and stuff. Are you just kind of saying whatever the farmers got out there, I'm just going to try to jump on their back and fingers crossed? And
Yeah, basically. Early probably hunt the first pick cornfields around, and even with the crop standing, just going to those areas that I know over the years have produced shooters in
Right.
daylight, with, whether it be sightings, whether it be trail camera pictures, just go into those areas and capitalize on it that way,
Gotcha.
just kind of go over all my notes over the years.
so your food plots almost kind of sound like they're almost, I mean, yes, they're still food plots, but your usage of them is almost like a little bit different than Brett and I, because it seems like Brett and me, we're kind of going through and doing this to kind of see what we have in our area to bring them to us. And you have a good idea from years past, from you and your grandpa and your great grandpa and your uncle's grandpa, and your family forever being out there having ideas for whatever it is. So with your food plots, though, is yours more of just kind of like like to manipulate them where you want them to go, kind of deal?
Some of them, yes. Others are to really get those does brought in, that third,
Okay.
fourth week of October into the first week of November. Because if you've got an abundance, you're basically at that point, you're hunting the does. So if you
Right.
can get an abundance of does into those plots, then you're going to have the bucks coming in and checking. So you're really, when we plant those plots, we're really planting, like Mark Drury says, planting to palatability. So we want those plants to be the most palatable at that time. And then we've got other, other plots that we've planted that you're trying to plant to palatability later in the year.
Right.
So that's what I do a lot because we've got so many deer and we've got so much crop ground around us, especially years that's beans. You don't have a lot of leftover grain out there in those fields. So on those years when we do plant those bigger plots for later in the season, that's what they're for, is just basically food tonnage out there to keep those deer through the late season.
So you're excuse me. So yours is more of almost like a late season dinner bell
Pretty much.
kind of deal, and it seems like Brett and me, we're kind of, I mean, I don't know your properties, but I know mine, like I'm still trying to figure them out, and I'm still trying to get all this figured. I mean, there's hundreds, thousands of acres all around me of this and that, but I really want to try to make it to be to where like it's they get used to it, like throughout the summer and everything like this, and then when everything's gone, they're like, oh, well, this is left over, and trying to try to, I guess, make that, oh my gosh, a constant area where they're at. Because I see the difference. I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but I see the difference in my brain because yours is like, what you got. You know what you're going to do. To me, you don't need to go out and, come September 1st and hang cameras and do this and be prepared because you're basically inventorying, yes, into October, but a month and a half into October to see even what you got. Like you already have an idea. So instead of like me and Chris are doing, going through and trying to get an idea, Brett, you two are just.
I need a name tag.
But like me and Brett are going through and, trying to get an inventory and get an idea of what we got even before because, I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with your deer. But, I mean, from us talking in times, you're just like, dude, I've just not seen them. I don't know what's going on.
Well, last year, I didn't do any food plots, and like that, they will summer very hard and hardly a lot in my at my farm in the summer. I mean, they're there constantly, and then it's like as soon as October rolls around, like they're there and they'll start. But last year, I think hurt me. I just didn't have food, and when we did pick the corn. Like there wasn't a cob left in the field, so they had just like nothing to eat, and then they just kind of branched off. But I think this year will be a lot different because I've got 4 different food plots. I've got just a variety of everything.
Right.
I call it the buffet. So hopefully they can just come through and just I'm not liking the beans today. Let's go try this and that. But so I think this year's going to be a lot different, and I think the weather has a lot to do with it.
Oh yeah, that's something I think else we're going to talk on here in a minute. Yeah. But I mean, I hope that's making sense. On like kind of what I'm saying is like we're all of us use food plots, unless you forget. I didn't put one in last year.
Right.
And but we're using them almost in different ways. Like I said, trying to use mine as a major, like something different in Inventoria. This brand. Dude, I mean, this is my 3rd year out there, 4th year out there, and this is by far the most plot, crop, whatever that I've had out there. And I'm hoping that it rings that late dinner bell, but I was hoping to put it out there early enough that when these deer are roaming back and forth from field to field and stuff, and they see mine and like, oh, I ain't got to go so far.
Right.
It's to where Levi's is more of, he knows he has them. He's just trying to get them to now pull close to him. So I don't know. It's making sense in my brain.
Yeah.
If it's not making sense coming out of my mouth.
A lot of my smaller plots are, located more around like the smaller wood lots and stuff, and those are kind of what I guess you could consider like more of a kill plot.
Yeah.
But then my late season food sources are more concentrated, like the big creek bottoms and stuff, where you've got more timber, more cover, more thermal cover for wintertime, because that's where those deer in our area really herd up. So if I can get those bigger plots down in those big creek bottoms, I know that's my key to success later in the year. So that's where I put my bigger food sources. That way I can pretty much catch them right out of bed, right out in there in daylight.
Makes sense.
And you still got a ton of food for winter.
Makes sense.
And that's what I do with my with my greens is I'll put them like down because on the bottom I got nice creek bottom runs through and the bedding area is not far off. So I know, okay, if they can bed, they can eat, they got a water source. So they don't have to go far. So they can stay and then live at the farm instead of having to drift off and go other places.
Yep.
I'm trying to hold the deer.
Speaking of water sources, have you guys ever tried any of them water holes or to do any,
I've
you know what I mean?
debated
Anything like that at all?
I've had an idea what I wanted to do. I'll share it. Just buy a $14 kiddie pool and just dig a little hole, set it down in.
I've seen people do that.
Yeah. Oh, damn, someone took my idea.
Yeah. I've been wanting to build some waters, especially on years that we have EHD to where I can get, like the truck too, with a water tank in the back. But basically, you got a 275 gallon tote, get one of the food grade totes that's had like, cooking oil or something like that in it. And you build a little tin roof on top of it with gutters on each side. And then you've got a hose, or like maybe a 4 to 6 inch hose running down into it to feed it on years, where you're getting some rain. And then if you got to haul water to it, you haul water to it.
Right.
You just put a float on it, have a tray and a float, and keep them fresh water that way. But we do have one spot that we call the swamp, and it's a really good bedding area, and we really don't hunt it much. Basically, it's one of those places you crash into later in the rut when they're really locking down, and that's my favorite time to hunt water. I've hunted it a little bit early season, and I've seen deer, but not a lot of mature bucks on it in daylight. But I have crashed into that swamp before, and the times that I've had really good success. I've shot a couple bucks, early in the afternoon, in that like November 15th to 20th time frame, right, that week right before gun season usually. And then, even the days that I haven't shot deer in there, I've had big mature bucks push does up in there and they'll bed right on the edge of that water in
Really?
there. Yeah.
I just was kind of wondering if it was one of those, like a gimmick, or if it actually was something, because I try not to drink the Kool-Aid so much and try to ask and look into it and stuff, because it makes sense in my brain.
Right.
But at the same time, I've seen stuff too. But I think if you're like with what Levi was talking about with the giving them fresh water and having it moving and stuff, because I've seen people, because this is what messes with my mind, is they say, the EHD and this and that, they're by stagnant water and all this stuff. Well, if you're going out there and you're putting a kiddie pool out there, you're giving them stagnant water. So to me, that's kind of defeating the purpose, because...
And that's what made me not want to do it, because I started thinking about it. I was like, now you just got just water just sitting. You're getting leaves and just every little...
Yeah. Mosquito hatch. And
What I've thought of, because I got a small creek going through mine, is I've thought about going through in one of the bins, like digging it out.
Yeah.
And making like almost like a big pool, I guess would be the best way to say it, is so when the water's going through and it's moving, it's still moving that water out of that creek, that creek bottom, so you're not just whatever. But like you were saying, Levi, if you went through and did this and you had like a float on there and, and your water was in there and you had it, somewhat sealed up, I think maybe you could get away with that a little bit more, especially if it's...
And they say to make your tanks
rain.
dark.
Yeah.
That way you're not getting the mold.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I never heard that. I just heard it was so then it just doesn't stick out as bad. It looks like an actual
I've always thought about
hole.
getting one of those, like, how you get like those big aerators you'd have for like a fish tank that run off of just battery.
Yeah.
Throwing that in there and just let the water circulate. But
Yep.
what's good about our farm is we got a creek runs through it and it never stops moving. It's always flowing. So that helps us a lot.
Right.
But there's, like you said, there's little pockets that will just kind of sit, and that always worries me. But
because it was well, before we go, okay, time out. All right, so this episode, just like all of our other ones in the past, and if you haven't listened to the ones in the past, you're missing out. Make sure you go through and listen to those, get you all learned up and entertained. First one we got here is Wreck Broadheads. Went through and just got myself just got some of Matt's new HXPs. Dude, I can't ever say his bigger bladed expandables. Went through and got some of those. Dude, have you seen those yet?
yeah.
Dude, them things are nasty looking, dude.
Oh, yeah.
And I know we've said it before, but talking about a 3-inch entry hole and stuff, and with me being a shitty shot and a shitty hunter.
Did you see that video I put on Instagram of that blood trail?
No.
Oh,
I haven't seen it yet.
I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, it's I know they've did. I think it might have just been their regular expandables. I think they did one. It was just like the corn was just painted.
Oh, that's
red.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Okay.
I thought it was the new ones for some
No, I don't
reason.
think it is. I think that's one. But who knows? I know they went through and did some prototype ones and
Yeah.
stuff. So it might have been from last fall with this and that.
Yeah, I think that was the HXP.
I thought so,
I think
too.
it was
Yeah.
Huntworks, Greg Klessinger, and
Okay.
and those guys. They got to shoot them last year.
Yeah. Like I said,
Yeah,
I knew
it
some of them went through and did
It was
that.
like a red carpet.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just freaking insane to me. But yeah, go make sure you go through, get a hold of Rec, let them know that we sent you that way, get you some, my opinion, through all the many of like 5-6 years I've been hunting. These are by far the best broadheads I've ever shot. And yeah, I mean, they do true. I mean, they fly where they're supposed to fly. I mean, you might have to tweak your bow a little bit, but I mean, it ain't nothing, especially the fixed blades. I mean, you got to tweak a little bit, but them expandables, man, I mean, they're shooting almost right where they're supposed to every single time. And I'm excited to go through and kill my doe with one this year.
Before I became a part of this with you guys, remember I shot that doe and she was quartered away, and I even told you guys like
Yeah.
that was the worst shot I've ever put on a deer, and I can't remember what wreck it was, but I've never seen and I've shot, like you said, a bunch of different broadheads. I've never seen anything like this. My father-in-law was me. He's like, "What are you using?" I was like, "I don't know the name of it." I said, "It's Rec broadhead," and he's like, "Oh, I'm getting me some of those." Like, that is awesome. Like, the blood trail is just insane.
That's the best
Yep.
best way to
Yep.
let people know. I mean, to go through and
Yep.
make them believers. I know we talked about it. Make sure you go through and listen to Levi's episode, and we talked about his buck that he killed last year. We put pictures up on Facebook. Go check them out. I mean, dude, it opened that old boy up like a zipper, dude.
Yeah, that was the only deer I've had go over 50, 60 yards with him.
Yeah, and that's absolutely insane because that hole was, what, fist easy?
Oh, yeah. It was massive.
Yeah, you can go through and do that. Okay, we got to get back on track here. Okay, so next one we got Dominant Bowstrings with Lewis. And I talk to him a couple times a week, and it always seems like he's getting busier and busier and busier. So if you are even remotely thinking about going through and getting strings, you should need to go through and pull the trigger right now, because it is beyond busy down at his shop. I mean, he is pumping out strings to dealers, to people coming in, to his online orders, to everything else. And I mean, he is one man. He's a hell of a man, but he's only one man, and he can only pump out as much as he can. He wants to get a good product to you guys, so he wants to, do it and do it right. But go through, get a hold of Lewis, Dominant Strands. I can't talk enough about how great he is with his bowstrings. It blows my mind to this day about how vital like a set of bowstrings is on your bow. And then the last one for this one, actually, you know what, because we're going to keep talking, I'm going to keep rolling here, is ECW hunting calls. Jeff goes through and makes these handmade
It's like me.
jewelry. Goes through and makes all his calls are handmade. I see that he just went through the other day and he's making a huge order for, I can't remember, it's not an outdoor group, but some
Like a hunting club.
hunting club. Yes, thank
seen
you.
that.
Went through and he's making a whole bunch for these hunting clubs and everything. I mean, we definitely use his grunt calls and everything like that during deer season, but I think his turkey calls are, not only do they work there, they're legit pieces of art. I mean, he went through and made some for us, and yeah, so if you got something going on, like Levi just said with this hunt club, he made them for this hunt club. I think he put their design on there and everything, so he can do these custom to you also. So make sure you go through and definitely get a hold of Jeff. And then we got Hex with Mike, which we can't say enough great things about either. We all became true believers. Matter of fact, we were all talking the other day, and Brett was like, man, I might be sticking out a little bit where I just hung up this deer stand. He's like, but I got my Hex. So it is
Not worried.
not worried one bit, making him feel a little better. And everybody that we've kind of talked to a little bit, we always bring up talking about going to Hex. And if you want to watch some videos, I mean, our videos, we got some on there. We got some other stories about Hex and how great it is for us. But if you really want to see something that'll make you go kind of, oh shit, is go through and go watch their stuff on YouTube, on their Facebook and stuff like this. I mean, they are standing out in the middle of nowhere, and they got turkeys come just right in, and it's incredible. Go through and go watch them. And then we got Wild Oak Whitetails Buck Lure. It's pretty dang close.
Getting to be that time.
Getting to be that time. We're going to go through and talk about what the little bit of stuff that we heard the other day about. It's about time to get out there and do those scrapes and everything. So make sure you go through and get a hold of Corey. It is all one deer, one bottle, one to you, no matter what. He will do what he can. He'll work out with you. Corey is a great dude. So, I mean, you need to get a hold of him, though, too. He's kind of like Lewis. He's only one man. He goes through and he does what he can, and he runs out of product pretty dang quick. So you need to make sure and go through and get a hold of him. Marath Welding, we're not going to get into much of him because it's the same stuff every time. He's upside down in something or other or underneath something, and he's about to be busier and anything, and then I'll get out because it's about time for the farmers to be back out there. He's going to be fixing equipment, modifying equipment, bringing old equipment back to life. Go through and check him out. And then the last one for this spot is Antler Ridge. Go through, go check out Jesse and everything that he's doing. I see that he just went through and ordered a whole bunch of camo hats and everything, and he wants to go through and put some patches on those for you. Make sure to go through and listen to the episode when he came in and stopped by. He said that he's kind of wanting to expand his wings a little bit, but he's kind of nervous about it. So I'll say it again like I did in that episode. Go through and bombard him with some ideas. Make him go through and, get out of his comfort zone and go through because, I mean, Jesse's a hell of a guy. He's a hell of a hunter. And go through and, help a brother out.
And I just talked to him last night.
I did too.
And I think he's going to make up a few different style or, a few different camo patterns and colors of hats for us for our pre-launch.
Oh, awesome.
Yep. So
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll definitely go through and, we'll sell our hats for, about $15-20 a piece, but those ones come straight from Jesse and custom made and everything. They're at least going to be like probably $50. Got to get. I mean, hey, if Jesse's going through,
work 25.
Oh, okay.
But you can pay me 50.
And then you'll make sure to go through.
I was talking to Jesse too last night, and it seems like he's going to start doing some different stuff. He sounds like he's going to start kind of coming out of his shell.
Yeah.
So
I think
he's getting into it.
I think he needs to.
Yeah, he does great work.
So, okay. Those are it for the sponsors and everything. So we're going to jump into, we were talking a little bit that fall might, I wish we could go through and actually give a plan, but it seems like right now we might be getting a little bit of an early fall. Because you said, Don Higgins put out something the other day saying.
He found a scrape already, which is early.
Right.
Pretty much throughout the whole year, those bucks will use their preorbital glands. But no, this buck actually, pawed the dirt, tore it up, so legit scrape. I don't know. I guess we'll see how things progress off of that, but gets you kind of excited to hear.
Oh, I'm beyond excited. I mean, I get excited every single year, but this year I'm beyond excited. Hanging out with you guys and learning so much, and then I get my food plots in and everything, and it just I'm jacked. I just hope it's one of those things like we were talking the other day that we hope it doesn't go through, and then all of a sudden here comes into September, 1st of October, and it's
100 degrees.
Exactly.
We're definitely going to have that Indian summer at some point. We always do.
Oh, we always do, yeah.
But just
Halloween,
depends on where it falls.
Yeah.
That's like I'm excited because, like last year, I didn't forget about the food plots. I had a daughter born on the 4th of July, so that was kind of like my food plot time. Not saying that she was an inconvenience. I love her to death.
But she was an inconvenience.
So I'm excited that I've got food plots this year, but I'm like, that's what I was telling my wife. She's like, are you ready for deer season? I'm like, I'm ready mentally. I was like, but physically, no. I said, I have no deer stand shooting lanes trimmed out. I'm like, I'm not ready because just work's been busy and I'm going to a different shift and stuff like that. It's like, okay, I can wait for it to come, but I'm ready for it to be here, but I'm not. So.
Well, I've went through and I always feel every year like, dude, I'm not ready. I'm just not ready. I'm not ready. It doesn't matter how early I start anything. But I've noticed that I've went through and given myself like a list almost of like, okay, this month I'm going to absolutely do this. And it's like 3 things. And then maybe this month, 3 things. So now it's literally to the point to where, yes, I do feel that I'm 100% behind the 8 ball. But come September, when those leaves start turning a little bit on my beans and everything like that, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to go throw out some brassicas and some and all that good stuff. And then I'm going to put Danielle's little ass on the mower. I'm going to have her go out there and go mow. I'm going to re-secure my stands that I got up out there because I always go out there and loosen them
Check
up.
straps,
yeah,
yeah.
so they're not all stuck in there.
Yep.
And then I got to put my blind up on my tower that I built. And then unless it's something else is different in my notes that I got down, dude, then I'm ready.
Yeah.
And that's going to be by far the earliest
That's good.
that I've ever going to be ready.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to go through two, because I know I said this 1,000 times, but Levi's got it pounded in my head that, like, October 1 is cool, awesome, and great, but, like, if you want to kill deer and kill big deer, keep your ass out of there until
Yep.
the weather's right.
Yep.
So that's going to be hopefully...
Unless you got one pattern.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't. I've had 2 good deer pictures, and each of them I've had 1 picture of them, so they're definitely not patterned.
Like, I'm going to say I'm going to stay out October 1st, but I'm sorry, but that big tall 10 that I've got running around, if he keeps going to those beans every night, 5:15, 5:30,
Right.
bet your ass I'm going to be sitting. I don't care if I'm in a bucket.
Oh, hell
I'm going to
yeah.
be sitting there. waiting.
All you need to do is, because the weather's going to be good and hot, just wear your Hex out there
Yeah,
and just sweat through it, and then just boom, smoke and be done.
be fine. I can do that. Be fine with
And then think of all the extra time you could go through and come help us
it. Yeah.
and everything, and come drag our deer and help us do everything.
Well,
Yeah.
I still got one more deer to shoot, one more buck.
Oh, well, you got to
I'm
wait
gonna
till
try
late.
to-
You got to wait till late season for
I
that,
know.
though.
Got to spread them out a little
Yeah,
bit.
exactly. You can't pull Levi
like-
and kill 3 of them in 2 weeks.
That's
3. You call me a poacher?
No, I'm saying it comes. They can say it's bow season, but and then you move a little bit and you go somewhere else, and then you kill a doe. I didn't say they're all bucks. Oh, you know what I mean?
okay.
Yeah. But I mean, if the shoe fits and you went right to the poaching thing, I mean,
Don't get me wrong. I would love, because I don't think I've ever bucked out in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. I would love to buck out, but like if I shot a buck October 1st and another one like the 13th of October,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be so bored during the rut.
Oh, I know.
Well, shit, that's what you was last year or the year before.
Last year,
You did
Yeah.
something like that. And
shot
you were,
2 of them in 13 days.
Yeah, and you were just like, dude, what the hell do I do the rest of this time?
Hey, back in, you want to talk about boring. Back in, I think it was 2012, I shot 2 in 24 hours.
No shit.
Damn.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay.
Now what?
It's one of those, yeah, so excited. I'm super, this is awesome. Hey, dude, guess what? I did this and this. Oh, hey, what are you doing? We got like 17 more days until the rut, and then we got X amount of weeks till
Yeah, it
you're
was
right.
definitely bittersweet. You know, I shot one night on my home farm, and got up early the next morning, took him to the locker, ran down to Macomb, bought another set of bow tags, and I'm like, oh shit, the wind's gonna be right for my Knox County farm. So I went home, got showered real quick, threw all the shit back in the truck, drove to Knox County farm, wasn't in the stand, I don't know, 3 hours. I mean, it was like 23 to 24 hours, like right on the nose. Freaking smoked my second biggest buck
No
ever with a
kidding.
bow.
That's
Damn.
awesome. But yeah, So getting back to with what the hell are we even talking? We were talking about you and early season with Hex and all that stuff. Oh, talking about like how we're excited to go
Yeah.
through.
Pattern deer, and
But
we're going to try to stay out.
Try
Not
to-
go out October 1st
Yeah.
unless it's.
So that's where I was getting at. Is so if by the time I go through end of August, 1st September, even tiptoeing in the middle of September, I said August, September. Wow. Okay. End of August
Who's the
into
poacher now?
into September, even dibble dabbing on the middle of September. That's going to give me unless, like you said, you got the pattern coming through or the weather dramatically changes and stuff. Then that still is giving me roughly a month and a half until I'm really going to go out there and go and get it. So this is by far the earliest, and I'm not relaxed, but the most relaxed that I've been in years going through and doing this.
Yep.
So, okay. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Hold on here, phone.
Yeah, I've still got a stand to move because I hung it, 2 years ago. And it was in a locust tree, which is just stupid to begin with. And I cleaned up all the thorns, like where your back would go and where you'd move around. And I went to go check it the other day, and I'm like, oh, there's a lot more locusts in there. So I got to get that one out of there because I know one morning you sit down, you lean back like, yep.
Oh,
Catch one right in the back.
yeah, I got
Good
one of
morning.
those. I got one of those too. That's
Yeah.
the exact same thing.
I'm
just
like,
gonna
I
go-
need to move that guy.
Well, the thing is, where mine's at, like that's the best.
That's how this
Tree
is. Yeah,
that
it's
I
like
got.
It's right on the creek bottom. And like the creek is like right to your right. So then they got a big crossing that goes through there. It's just like, man, it's a great spot, but it is so painful to
Yeah,
sit
I
there.
definitely didn't pick this tree because I wanted to pick
Yeah,
the tree.
yeah. I even seen it. I'm like, that's a good straight tree. I'm like, everything else is curved and wide. I'm like, damn it. Yep, we're going to do it.
I'm going to do it.
Seems like it's always a locust or a hedge tree.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's the killing tree. But I've got some bigger draws that I hunt. I mean, it's you get in some, and they're big, but they're wide open, and it's almost kind of like giving you like a Kansas or Oklahoma type feel, to them. You can see for miles when the crops are out.
Right.
And, these deer just bedded in the tall grass in these things and just full of locust. And so, that's pretty much, I've grown up hunting a lot of locusts from that. And I enjoy hunting them because, you, especially early season, you get in there and you hang that stand and you cut those thorns off. That tree does produce a little bit of an odor.
Oh,
So it covers your scent.
Yep, I feel like it does help cover your scent.
right. So, okay. So our next set of sponsors, because we rambled for the first set, we're going to bring in the home stretch here. We got Nature Bay Jewelry by Levi. Go through. He'll make you rings, necklaces, whatever you need. He goes through and he takes his crappy antlers. We keep asking him to go through and tear up his big ones, but he just
That's what we ought to do while Chris is gone. We ought to take all of his big sheds over here. Hell, he wouldn't even miss that one over there.
Yeah, the nice thing is you
double drop.
double
drop to 214. Hell, we'll make him into some jewelry.
Dude, I bet people pay good money knowing that it came from that one.
Probably.
There you go. And Chris, are you opposed to that? I didn't hear no.
No, guys, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, it's fine. So, so go through, get a hold of Levi. He goes through and makes that stuff out. It is what I keep calling country fancy. And then get a hold of Levi, National Land Realty. I mean, this dude is going through and things are picking up for him. He's keeping busy. Selling farms, if you got anything that's interesting or if you are somewhat interested in selling a farm, buying a farm, or just basic questions, go through and get a hold of him. And then last but not least, we got McKee Automotive with Dusty. He's partnering up, going together, whatever you want to call it, with another local automotive place. We know them also, and they are awesome. So we are all excited to see what they're going to do together. It's kind of crazy in our little nothing town, little area, but how busy both of them are, and they just keep expanding and getting bigger and better. And it is and we are hoping nothing but the best for Dustin and other people that are with us. And if you're listening, you should probably go through and want to, help us out too, because we're talking about you. Don't be a cheap ass like we all know that you are, and help us out. All right, so we talked about those. Ooh, and then I know we're not sponsored by them, but Levi, do you want to go through and kind of talk about your ram blind situation?
Last episode we talked to Dirk Stark. He knows pretty much everybody in the outdoor world. Got me hooked up with Chad from Ram Blinds. If you're looking for a blind, for fall or, get you out of the elements for late season, man, look us up. We'll get you a blind, and really, really nice for the money.
They're all hard-sided, nice. Right?
Yep, they're hard-sided. I believe they have 9 windows in them. I mean, basically they're a 360 type blind. Yeah. Chad's a great guy. He actually was the owner, I believe, of Field Logic and Rage broadheads, and basically got out of that, started Ram Blinds because, he saw the blind market taking off, and, Muddy and Hawk and all them, not to knock those guys, they make a great product, but, for the average Joe, I mean, you can't spend $2,000-$3,000 on one of those hard-sided blinds. So he wanted to make something that was still comfortable, to hunt out of, especially for kids, get you out of the elements, and they're very, very affordable. You can get they got the Ram 650, the Ram 750, and I mean, you're talking less than half the price of a Muddy or a Hawk. So, and
you were saying too, you can go through and they come with like a flooring piece, right? You can get a flooring piece, and then you get the platform and all that stuff for almost for like what a regular blind from like Muddy and all that stuff is, right?
Yeah, not including their platform. So
that's what I'm saying. So just for their blind alone, you can get a whole platform, the flooring piece, the blind, everything.
I think the Ram 750 with the platform kit minus you got to buy the 4x4s,
Right.
Oh yeah,
for the legs.
Yeah.
I think it was like $17.99.
Yeah, and dude, that shit. And some of those,
No.
it's still half
Yeah.
of what some
Yeah.
of them, like you were saying, not knocking them by any means. I'd love to have one, but it's just not for your average Joe going out there and doing this and doing that kind of deal.
Yeah, and with their price point the way it is, it gives the consumer the chance to maybe even own multiple of them.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah, he's definitely got a good thing going there. Really expanding and getting a lot of dealers across the U.S. So I definitely think he's onto something.
And then one more thing that they come in two pieces, right?
Yep.
So it's not like you're trying to lift up this one.
Yeah, and they're fairly light. So if you don't have a trailer to transport with or anything, or you don't have a tractor and loader to with forks to try to get them up on the platform, 2-3 guys can easily lift this thing up. I mean, it's more awkward than it is heavy.
Right.
But yeah, basically you just put it together, out in your driveway or in your shop, and it just kind of slides together, and you got one guy inside, one guy outside, and you bolt it together, and there you go.
Which I think is great because I mean that's very much how we are, is we try to get what we can for our stretch that buck and everything like that.
Absolutely.
And I mean because me and you sat last year when it was beyond cold out, and this and that, and in that softer, heavier sided muddy blind or redneck blind that I had.
Yeah.
And you're using and stuff. So there is times that it is nice to go through just to get out of
the wind
the
a little
elements,
bit.
get out of the
snow,
wind.
and,
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
this-
it was a pretty shitty night that night we hunted. I mean, it was snowing, the wind was blowing pretty hard, and if you're not out there, you're not going to see the amount of deer that we saw that night.
Exactly, and it gets you out a little bit, and especially like you were saying, to be able to go buy a couple, because I know that's crossed my mind. I'm like, man, I could go through and buy this one, but it's like, damn, but then I'm stuck in this one spot.
And that's like me. I built that one last year on that old trailer of mine, and it was great, but the amount of money I put into it, I could have probably bought. I would have for sure been able to buy a random blind. And now that I have it up, all the blind spots that I have in that blind now, it's just like, oh, but like you said, you got 360 vision in them things, and I've got 245 vision.
Yeah.
Like you can see over here, and then all of a sudden it's like, damn, why didn't I put a window right there? It's like now you got to like look around and
Right.
Well, and they come with clear and tinted windows, which, I'm a fan of the tinted because
Yep.
when they're closed,
Yep.
you've got that backdrop behind you, kind of keeping it darker in there.
Yep.
But yeah, you've got your options of those, and I definitely think he's onto something. I mean, heck, like I was getting at, if you don't have a trailer, you can just leave it in two pieces and then put it together when you get out there.
Yeah, throw it in a truck bed or something. Yeah,
to your tower, that you want to put it on, or if you want to leave it on the ground, you can just put it together right there, and you're good to go.
Yeah, well, I think it's great.
Yep.
Okay, so anything else we want to touch on in this episode before we go through and start rummaging through Chris's shit and seeing what we can find? God, he's so dumb. He let us come in here without him,
He just trusts us, boys. He trusts us.
and
That's
he's
good.
going to not trust us after this.
Correct.
AJ's going to leave him an upper decker.
Exactly. We're going to let him know that we've been here because he's not going to be back for till tomorrow, Tuesday,
Tomorrow morning, coming
Yeah.
back.
Tomorrow morning. Oh, I was going to sit in there and marinate for him. Oh yeah, he's going to love it. So, all right. On that wonderful note. All right, if you made it through another episode with us, we greatly appreciate it. Make sure to go through, if you would, share our stuff. Go through, hit the 3 dots, and invite friends and everything. We're growing. We absolutely love it. If you're a new listener, once again, thank you so much for listening. You're taking a huge step because a lot of times we don't know what we're talking about. We're just fucking gabbing off in the mouth, but we have a good time doing it. So with all that being said, thank you so much one more time to you guys. Go check out our sponsors and all that good stuff, and we will catch you on the next one.